For more on this, let's bring in Gerard Prunier. He's a historian who specialises in the region. Thank you very much for being with us here on France 24, Mr. Prunier. I want to start, how justified do you think these fears are that Kabila is trying to put off elections that would see him leave office?
Well, the fears are more than justified. They are the reality. It's very unlikely that he would simply step down and accept to hold elections, which, by the way, in line with the last agreement, are scheduled to take place before June 2018. But even with that further deadline, it's rather unlikely that he would accept that.
Is this part of a concerted strategy by Joseph Kabila to delay the elections and to stay in power? I mean, can you tell us a little bit more of what else he might have done?
Well, there is much more, because the main opposition to the government is not in Kinshasa. It is in terms of votes, but in terms of physical action, it's much further east, in Kasai and in the two Kivus, North and South Kivu. And there, the violence is constant, and there are many victims. And if there is further frontal head-on clash between the government and rebels, it will be in the east, not in Kinshasa.
Kabila has said in the past that violence in the central Kasai region that you mentioned could reach Kinshasa, and that's one of the reasons he's given for delaying those elections. How realistic is that?
Well, the question is, nobody really knows who is fighting whom in the east. So it's extremely easy for the government to pretend. For example, the last attack against the Blue Helmets was commonly attributed to the ADF, which is an organization which has numerous Muslim members. Why? Because anything that is called Muslim is something that people fear or that is linked with extreme violence. It is rather unlikely that it was the ADF. It was probably other groups like the MNR or even the old M23, because there are so many armed groups in the East and they have recomposed themselves and reorganized themselves that the attribution of violence is a case of free-floating anxiety.
Kabila has been in power since 2001. He's been voted in twice in elections that have been plagued by irregularities. Are we seeing here a politician who wants to stay in power at all costs, despite his unpopularity?
Yes, of course. And also because there is no clear-cut contender who would seem like he's a potential winner in a free and fair election. So, we're in a situation of uncertainty where the beneficiary is, of course, the incumbent.